Hey everyone. Okay, so have you ever caught yourself just staring at your phone and suddenly wondering where on earth the last hour went? Yeah, us too. Today, we're diving into an explainer based on some really eye-opening research that peels back that glossy, perfectly filtered surface of our social media feeds. We're going to uncover the manipulative mechanics, the hidden economics, and the psychological traps that, according to the data, are designed literally just to keep us scrolling. So get ready, because what's happening behind the screen is actually far darker than what you're seeing on it. 2,600. Let that sink in for a second. According to the data, that is the average number of times a person touches their smartphone every single day. And it gets crazier. Recent studies show that since the pandemic, our average screen time has absolutely skyrocketed to a staggering 7 hours a day. Guys, that's nearly a third of your life spent looking at a screen. But why? Why can't we just put these devices down? Well, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the illusion of perfection, then move into chasing clout at any cost. After that, we'll look at the science of addiction, unpack the algorithm's hidden economics, and finally, talk about reclaiming our reality. All right, part one, the illusion of perfection, staging the unrealistic. It's wild when you look at the stark contrast between the feed and reality. You might be scrolling past influencers lounging in private jets, living the absolute dream. But investigations have actually revealed companies in places like Moscow that literally rent out fake private jet sets purely for photo shoots. I mean, fake it till you make it, right? And those massive viral interviews where creators are boasting about being the richest in their city, often they're just staged PR stunts, bought and paid for with a mere 5,000 rupees. The sources really show us that it's all just a carefully manufactured game of show-off. But the research highlights that things get even more insidious when this whole fabrication turns to physical beauty. We're seeing top global influencers and celebrities undergo immense physical alterations, things like breast augmentations, liposuction, face fat transfers. And then they pair all that with heavy photo editing. And what's the next step? They turn around and launch their own cosmetic brands, selling this impossible surgical beauty standard under the guise of flawless natural makeup. Think about that. They are literally selling you your own insecurities. And there is a devastating human cost to this illusion. A recent study revealed that a staggering 90% of women feel pressured to meet these digital beauty standards. 90%. Even worse, 60% admitted to experiencing active anxiety or depression just trying to maintain their own online image. The data shows they feel like they can't even post a picture unless it matches the synthetic perfection of a billionaire influencer. It's heartbreaking. Which brings us to part two, chasing clout at any cost. The rise of extreme content. So we've witnessed this incredibly rapid, really toxic evolution in content online. Creators who maybe started out with harmless comedy or, simple family food reviews inevitably hit a plateau in views. It happens to everyone. But to break through that plateau, the content escalates. Harmless food reviews suddenly turn into sexually suggestive double-meaning jokes. Comedy sketches devolved into semi-nude thirst traps. And today, we are actually seeing creators film public indecency and borderline harassment in parks and streets, basically disguising soft porn as content just to exploit the platforms for higher views. And the financial incentive behind this is insane. 2 million rupees. That's what some of these creators are generating every single month. By funneling their audience from public platforms into private fan subscription services, they have created a massive payday for themselves. When acting outrageously on a public feed translates to that kind of money behind a paywall, the extreme suddenly becomes the norm. Moving right along to part three, the science of addiction, hijacking the brain. Okay, so we constantly hear about dopamine, right? But usually we get it wrong. Dopamine isn't just the pleasure chemical. It's actually a neurotransmitter linked to motivation and the anticipation of a reward. Your dopamine spikes not just when you actually get a like, but in that anxious, super exciting moment when your phone buzzes and you're waiting to see who it is. The sources show how social media companies basically weaponize this biology by creating a flawless dopamine loop. It works in 4 steps. First up, ease of access. It literally takes one swipe to open an app. Second, speedy reward. Infinite scrolling delivers a brand new hit every few seconds. This constant anticipation just floods your brain with dopamine, until eventually your brain dials back its natural production. And that leaves you in step 4, a chronic deficit. You literally feel empty without your phone. And that brings us to the hedonic treadmill. It's this psychological reality that humans quickly return to a baseline level of happiness. Think about it. 100 likes used to totally thrill you, but now you probably need 1,000 just to feel normal. This perfectly explains why both users and creators constantly need more extreme, shocking, and provocative content just to feel the exact same baseline level of satisfaction they felt a year ago. Let's dig into part 4, the algorithm's hidden economics, profiting off extremes. Now, data from a German study by the nonprofit Algorithm Watch proves that algorithms actively push provocative content. They found a massive 54% increase in algorithmic visibility for semi-nude content, while standard posts like nature shots or your everyday food pics suffered a 60% decrease. The algorithm is coded to understand exactly one language: engagement. And unfortunately, controversy drives engagement. Social media giants love to claim their platforms are 99% safe and free of harmful content. But an incredibly alarming Danish experiment proved otherwise. Researchers created fake accounts meant to belong to 13-year-old minors, and they intentionally interacted with self-harm content. For a whole month, not a single one of those posts was removed. Instead, the algorithm actively fed more similar toxic networks and dangerous posts to these minor accounts. The research clearly demonstrates that the system prioritizes engagement over safety, period. And the offline consequences of this algorithmic bias, they are genuinely terrifying. When digital jokes about assault go viral, it normalizes physical harassment. It triggers extreme social conformity in young people who start to think this behavior is perfectly acceptable just because everyone online is liking it. We are seeing real-life violence as mobs attack creators in public. And most chillingly, the research indicates that viewers who are heavily exposed to this normalized aggression are 6 times more likely to replicate sexual aggression in the real world. Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Reclaiming Our Reality, Breaking the Cycle. Because behind those flawless online personas, the pain is incredibly real. We've seen tragic cases of teenage boys and prominent travel influencers who seemingly had the perfect life. Endless money, millions of followers, but behind closed doors, they were secretly battling immense, crushing pressure. Mental illness can strike anyone, and it is completely detached from the glossy illusion they project online. You really have to remember what you are up against here. The like button isn't just some cute little feature. It is a meticulously crafted psychological trigger designed by highly paid engineers who are backed by billions of dollars in research. Their sole objective? To keep your eyes glued to the screen, basically replacing your real-world relationships with a synthetic, isolated digital existence. But here's the good news. You can fight back using science. You just need to intentionally add friction back into your digital life to break that dopamine loop. Step 1. Literally delete the apps from your phone and force yourself to use the web browser instead to reduce that ease of access. Step 2. Turn off all non-essential notifications so you stop getting those speedy, unearned rewards. And Step 3. Actively use the Not Interested button to block toxic content. You have to retrain the algorithm. Because your attention is powerful. Every single view, every extra second you linger on a video, every like you give, it's a vote. Our collective attention actually dictates what the algorithm is going to amplify next. You have the power to starve the toxic content simply by looking away. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Take a really hard look at your daily habits. Are you simply consuming content for your own benefit, or is the content consuming you, your time, your mental health, and your reality? The choice of where to look next is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your focus sharp, and I'll see you next time.